baik tu dia jadi beratahu रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, locals to be given first chance post-COVID-19. $5 million for SME loans. And EU pumps in massive dollars into Fiji.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Locals will be given first chance in all aspects of business and workforce as the country feels the impact of COVID-19. The Permanent Secretary for Immigration, Yogesh Karan, today met with members of the Fiji Commerce and Employment Federation to clear out some misunderstandings about immigration matters. Karan says most members were particularly concerned with the non-renewal of work visas for investors and expatriates, and this they have been answered.
Yogesh Karan says opportunities should be first given to local, and should there a need to seek overseas expertise, then other measures can be considered.
Firstly, our intent is that the work must be given, the first priority, that work must be given to the locals. And in the event that you're not able to find the right skill sets, those competencies required for those investments, then naturally there's a process to bring in foreign nationals.
The Permanent Secretary says a thorough process is taken to ensure the right people are brought in to invest and run operations.
Any investor coming into the country is vetted by Investment Fiji, not immigration. They do the due diligence to qualify someone as a right kind of investment or right kind of investor. And when it comes to the border control, that's really the role of immigration.
Meanwhile, with COVID-19 halting some investments and development, it has given Investment Fiji the time to review some of its recruitment processes.
For us, we are still getting, we're still processing applications. We're still getting interest from potential investors. But more importantly for us, it's a time to stop and to reflect and to devise very clear and effective strategies on how we're going to move forward during the reset and beyond that.
The Permanent Secretary for Immigration has also stated in circumstances where there has already been approval by Investment Fiji, immigration may decline some applications. These as they also do reviews to consider the type of businesses proposed and also those who are given work visas. Karan also says there is some overlap which they are trying to address. Apinisawan Garantobu, FBC News.
The government will provide loans for small and micro businesses at concessional rates to help businesses struggling with the effects of COVID-19. Minister for Economy Ayaz Said Qayyum confirms $5 million has been set aside for this new scheme until the end of July, with the possibility of an extension if demand is high. Edwin Nund reports.
The loan facility is direct assistance designed to cushion the blow of COVID-19.
Some of them do face some financial issues. They have some financial turmoil, some of them, where they may not be able to, for example, meet their daily requirements, their working capital, etc. So we want to give them a hand.
Micro enterprises with an annual gross revenue of $50,000 can get a loan of $7,000 at a concessional rate of 0.5%. Small enterprises earning up to $300,000 can apply for $14,000 with an interest rate of 1%. Medium enterprises, which make between $300,000 to $1.25 million a year, are eligible for up to $21,000 at a concessional interest rate of 1.5%.
One of the important things that we're actually trying to look at is how we can diversify and do a lot of things instead of reliance on something, and this is one initiative that's actually going to help people start thinking outside the box.
Massive interest shown by people to get into agribusiness. They're now seeing agriculture as a profession, as a business, and for that we need some financial leverage.
Applications open on the 8th of June and will be vetted by a working committee, including Women in Business, the Fiji Institute of Accountants, the Fiji Chamber of Commerce, and the Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation.
They can very quickly do the assessments. And then we have the ability for them to be able to assist these businesses, for example, to do the cash flow, to be able to do some cash flow projections. That type of mentoring will also come into play.
I would just urge businesses and the citizens to take advantage of this opportunity and grow and invest in their businesses. Now is the right time for them to do so.
I mean, we've always been supporting SMEs, and what time than now to take that to another level.
To make applying easier, application forms will be available at legal aid offices, provincial and district offices, and the births, deaths and marriage offices around Fiji. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
A quick look overseas. From coast to coast, cities across the U.S. have seen their ninth night of protests against police brutality, sparked by the killing of George Floyd. It all comes as all 4 former police officers involved in his death face charges. The charge original against the officer involved has been elevated to second-degree murder. A $15 million agreement between the Ministry of Economy and the European Union will help sustain rural livelihood programs over the next 3 years. EU Ambassador for the Pacific, Sujiro Seam, says the COVID-19 pandemic has forced people to go back to farming, to literally put food on the table, and it is important that their budget support focuses on these families. Pranita Prakash reports $20 million will be made available straight away.
The $50 million financing agreement will focus on critical sectors.
This money will support the efforts undertaken by the government of Fiji to reform the agricultural sector and implement a new strategy which will aim at creating value, creating job opportunities, diversifying, coping with the challenges of climate change as well. So it is your chance to develop a rich, diverse, smart agricultural sector.
Economy Minister Ayaz Sayed Kayum acknowledged the support of the EU, saying it will help sustain our ailing economy.
This is not the first time they're providing support to us in terms of direct budget support. They've done this before. And obviously it's an indication, it's an affirmation of the fact that they have confidence in the way that we manage our economy, the way that we manage our financial system.
The Economy Minister says there has been a huge change in the agriculture sector in the last 2 years. He adds the agriculture sector is a key component of the export market. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Fiji's full recovery from the COVID-19 crisis will be measured not in months, but in years, says Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama. This as 40% of our GDP is dependent on tourism, and with travel restrictions in place to stop the spread of the virus, the industry has been at a standstill for 3 months. Ritika Pratap reports.
The Prime Minister says in Fiji, Tropical Cyclone Harold arrived on the heels of our first COVID-19 case. But 43 days removed from the last confirmed case, Bainimarama highlighted that it's clear the pandemic's economic fallout is far more destructive than any storm and far beyond Fiji's own capabilities to constrain. While speaking to leaders from Africa, the Caribbean and the Pacific in a Zoom meeting, the Prime Minister highlighted that global financing frameworks were already ill-suited to confront the climate emergency, and COVID-19 has further exposed their inability to rapidly and sustainably respond to the complex realities across our regions. Bainimarama stated that in the coming months, COVID-19 will trigger financial decisions that have the potential to reshape the world as we know it. The Prime Minister says it is estimated that Pacific's small island developing states require additional economic stimulus packages of at least 15% of the value of our GDPs to maintain our social and economic orders. He highlights that with our traditional revenue sources gutted, the support of our development partners, including within the European Union and multilateral development banks, is critical. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Up ahead, kava prices vary, say sellers, and taking to the street, selling for a good cause.
Pula nadang ko aproslan ngarse, go erkraki, do televizyon na barong na Radio Fiji 1, nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji 1, nandomo ibiti.
Health Minister Dr. Ifiremi Wanganambete says behavioural changes will be critical to containing any new cases of COVID-19. Dr. Wanganambete says the simple yet effective solution to the coronavirus pandemic is to continue to practice social distancing and good hygiene with regular washing of hands. Fiji currently has 3 COVID-19 patients who have been in isolation now for more than 2 months. Maggie Boyle reports.
The 3 Fijians with COVID-19 include a 28-year-old male, a 22-year-old female and a 12-year-old child. After an average of 66 days in isolation, the 3 continue to test positive for the virus.
After the 21st day, we test them relatively regularly every 5 to 7 days. So that's testing that is done for our patients. For the 18 and also for those that remain.
The health minister says that ensuring social distancing and practicing good hand hygiene is the most efficient public health service that can contain the virus.
We have to be aware of the fact that we can't let our guard down. We have to continue to push the behavioral change, which is the new normal, and I think that's the more important topic at the moment, is that we all have to work together as a nation.
The health minister also says despite no new cases in over a month, the full-scale COVID-19 operations remain in place.
The health protection measures that we have in place, they continue to function as much as it is when we initially had our first case. So that doesn't change. The amount of testing doesn't change.
In addition, 40 fever clinics remain operative countrywide, along with the toll-free helpline 158 for all COVID-19 queries. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Reproductive and Family Health Association of Fiji has noted a 100% increase in the number of clients seeking their services over the last 3 months. Executive Director Matilita Seva Dandravula says this is an achievement for the association, as the influx statistics are way above the number of clients recorded last year. Chosaina Nunga with the details.
The association believes COVID-19 has left some positive imprints in that some women are becoming more cautious of their reproductive health status.
Also increased in terms of our first visits, the clients that access our services for the first time. There has been a 23% increase. It is good to see that our past clients are actually coming on a return visit, and that has been on a 92% increase.
Seva Dandravula says the current restrictions and lockdown have encouraged most clients to practice proper family planning methods.
There has been a 2% increase on the uptake of long-acting reversible contraceptive methods. When I say long-acting reversible contraceptive methods, these are methods that can last for 3 to 5 years in terms of the prevention of pregnancy.
The worry now within the association is the stigmatization of menstruation. However, they hope that the perception of some men towards this normal life cycle will change soon.
We really need to work on desensitizing people that periods are a normal part of a woman's life. I do hope with menstrual health we will fight the many stigma and discrimination that is associated with menstrual health for our women and girls.
I think men should respect this normal life process. Yes, men should respect this life process.
The association has deployed 9 of its staff and volunteers who are currently on Kandawu Island providing sexual and reproductive health services following Tropical Cyclone Harold. This is particularly with women of reproductive age from 15 to 49 and sexual active men above 15. Chosaina Nunga, FBC News.
The quality of kava has for a long time determined its price in the markets. This comes after a significant drop in the cost of pounded kava. Lena Reese has more.
38-year-old Vilyame Samaj says the recent drop in price was only for pounded kava and not so much for raw waka.
Waka, the price will not come down. It will be still the same. Like we sell in the table, like $100, $110, $120. Only the waka pot is going down the price. We're selling $60, $70. Some of these markets they're selling $50. That's only the price is going down.
Ritesh Kumar has been a kava vendor at the supermarket for over 20 years and says they also bear in mind the hard work of the farmers who plant kava when purchasing high-quality grog to sell to consumers.
Yes, it goes on the quality and the range of grog. Even it goes the maturity of the grog. Some grog is very small, young grog, and it's cheap. The more the thicker, the more the years. 4 or 5 years grog is very expensive. And good quality grog is always very expensive.
With a range in pricing, vendors hope that sales will continue and improve with time. Lena Rees, FBC News.
With a few of her family members among the thousands of Fijians who have lost their jobs due to COVID-19, one elderly woman has stepped up. 64-year-old Lavinia Saurara, who wants to give back to those who have supported her financially over the years, has set up a mini food business selling traditional homemade meals. Kelly Badala reports.
Age is just a number when it comes to earning an income. For Lavinia Saurara, it's about pulling your weight and being there for family in hard times.
Whatever I earn here helps my family at home. Some of them have lost their jobs due to COVID-19, and I just want to help out by using my cooking skills to cook some traditional meals.
Saurara says the business is sometimes challenging, but she is up for the challenge to ensure her and her family's needs are met.
I still find it a bit challenging because there are similar businesses in the area, but I'm determined to sell whatever I can quickly whip up.
For an existing vendor, Rina, who ventured into the same food business a few years back, it's encouraging to see people make use of their skills.
It's easier for us rather than staying home.
These women continue to hold the fort for their families with hopes that things will soon get back to the old normal. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
And it's business time now with Whitney.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up in business tonight, fish business suffering drop in sales. And where's the Australian economy heading to?
My name is Neha and I'm from Karavi, and Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
With the pandemic affecting the economic market, small-scale fishermen are experiencing a drop in sales. As many lose their source of livelihood, the struggle in fish scales is becoming more evident. FBC News paid a visit to the fish market earlier today to hear the grievances shared by some of the fishermen affected. Venina Rakautonga has more.
As many are trying to recover from the financial constraints caused by the pandemic, for some it's a struggle trying to find the source for their next meal.
Sometimes we survive with little to no money with what we can accumulate in a day. Business is slower than usual, and we can really feel the impact of people being affected financially by this pandemic by the slow sale in our fish.
Tuisavura, who is the sole breadwinner for his family, says he is hoping for a light at the end of the tunnel.
We cannot be choosy. We have been gifted by the talent to go out and dive for fish. We will continue to do so. We're just hoping everything goes back to normal.
For Naivi Malupo, going out to fish is not an issue, but trying to sell his catch is.
There's an abundance of fish out there, and apart from the weather, we really don't find difficulty in getting our fish. The only hard part is trying to find people to sell it to, because it's not every day that we get a good number of customers.
Fish vendors also believe that people are turning to subsistence farming and fishing to provide for themselves during the pandemic.
For these fish sellers, empty stalls has been a sight for many weeks. However, they're still trying to make ends meet. Venina Rakautonga, FBC News.
Farmers and market vendors in Raki Raki are finding it difficult to sell their produce due to the impact of the pandemic on Fiji's economy. Speaking to FBC News, they've stated the income has declined by about 70% in the past 3 months, and they are now digging into their savings. Felipe Nakaso has more.
Many farmers and market vendors in Raki Raki are struggling to earn a living, as according to them, people are not spending like before.
To me, what I see for those who come and sell the fresh produce, because there's not many people coming to buy, and these are perishable goods, you know, and then it's just going to be left there, nobody's buying it. That's what I feel for the people. Some of them can sit here and wait to make $3 a day.
For Uate Longapila, the current situation has affected them to the point that a plan to buy their own house is now fading away.
The money that we have kept, we kept because we're renting, We kept some good money for night to buy one small piece of land and build a house. But it won't happen in this kind of crisis. All the money I just keep on go and withdraw and it's all gone.
Some farmers have even noticed the trend ever since people have been laid off.
Plenty people, they have time now. They're doing the growing of the vegetables too now. So whenever we ask them to buy this, they said, no, we have it at home.
For these farmers and vendors, they are now just hoping that the situation normalizes soon so that they're able to achieve their dreams, which for the moment are just that, dreams. Philip and Ikaso, FBC News.
Australia has ended its 29-year dream run of economic growth after grinding to a 0.2% contraction in the March quarter, largely brought on by bushfires and the pandemic crisis. Treasurer George Frydenberg says Australia avoided economic Armageddon and talked up the economic resilience of the nation. But with hundreds of thousands of Australians still out of work and the expectation of another quarter of contraction, it appears the bad news won't stop anytime soon. We now join Gary from HFC Bank with the latest from the money markets.
Looking at the latest in the currency market, Australian retail sales suffered a historic plunge in April as much of the country was on lockdown. Traders are taking this as a sign that the economy may suffer its largest contraction ever in the current quarter. Their retail sales fell by a seasonally adjusted 17.7%. In the US, the greenback's demand faded overnight as global funding strains eased. However, the growing concern over US-China tensions may see the US dollar bounce back on safe haven demands. Meanwhile, the euro held near multi-month highs against most major rivals. The currency has been boosted by expectation that the central bank will expand bond buying program to shore up the coronavirus-stricken economy. The central bank delivers its policy decision later tonight, followed by a news conference. And that's all from HFC Bank for now. Pinaka.
Turning to today's exchange rates as set this morning, the Fiji dollar made gains against the Chinese yuan and the US dollar, as well as the PNG kina and the Japanese yen. It showed a decline versus the Aussie and Kiwi dollars and the euro. Commodities were falling. The price of crude oil dropped to $36 per barrel. Gold was down, closing at $1,703 per ounce, and silver closed down at $17.59. That's it from Business Tonight. We now join Jamie with the latest in sports.
Thank you, Whitney, and good evening in Sports Tonight. Groundwork starts for new season.
Bola, I'm Miri. I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
They may have pulled out of the remainder of the Iran Massey Cup this year, but the Kaiviti Silktails Rugby League management is already setting the platform for the 2021 season. The focus now for the Silktails is their development pathway. Aquila Dama has more.
It's not the end of the road for our Silktails as the groundwork for the new season starts now.
Make sure that they're able to keep the players up to par.
To keep the players fit, the Silktails will have an elite development pathway program, and under the EDP, there will be squads based in Suva, Nandronga and Lautoka.
Those three squads will consist of around 25 players each, and they will all sort of be trained under the guidance of West Nangama. So that way the players are still very much part of the Silktail setup.
New head coach West Nangama will use the program as a blueprint for 2021.
Growing the game and building that pathways program as good as we can and getting as many boys as we can involved. It's only going to strengthen ourselves come the end of the year for when we do have our trials for next year and when the boys do trial for 2021 contracts.
The Silktails players will make up the Vodafone Cup competition, which is expected to start on July 18th. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
The Fiji Volleyball Federation is working to get the sport back up and running and aligned with the new norm. With the pandemic changing how sports can be played, all federations are required to adapt to better practices approved by the Fiji Sports Commission. Fiji Volleyball President Linganguki Suva says they've lodged their official documents and look forward to be given the all-clear for competitions to take place.
This pandemic has really changed a lot of things in terms of public gathering, in terms of participation, and most importantly, the hygienic part of hosting a tournament. So those relevant documents were submitted last night, and once we get certified by the Fiji National Sports Committee, then we're in a good position to organize tournament.
Well, basketball Fiji can't hit the courts, it has hit the screens. Fijians who want to have some fun while learning the details of the game can do so online. Caroline Itavi with the details.
Hula Hoops is an online basketball program proving popular with the public. Volunteer coordinator William Peter says it's intended for learning as well as fun.
We do this to help kids learn the game of basketball and enjoy the first experience of the sport. I think from online initiatives, I think this will be a good idea because it'll help the kids keep engaged and also teach them some new skills as well that they can practice at home, especially seeing the situation that we're facing worldwide.
Plans to have similar programs for different age groups are also in the pipeline. As far as real games of basketball is concerned, Chief Operating Officer Laisia Sapua Mau says when restrictions are lifted, there's unfinished business to attend to.
These programs are what William had mentioned before, which is the Bull Hoops program. Also, we had the business house competition that we'd like to complete before the year ends, and then other initiatives that we had planned, and we'll see if it's realistically if that can be held this year.
So while you're waiting to see the real game underway, you can also go online and try Bula Hoops. Caroline Itavi, FBC Sports.
It's official now, All Blacks great Dan Carter will make a sensational Super Rugby return, not with the Crusaders though. He's joined the Blues on a short-term deal. Carter was confirmed as a Blues player this afternoon and had his first training run with the side as well. The Warriors' outstanding performance against the Dragons in the NRL last weekend is firmly on the radar of William Kikau and the Panthers. The two teams meet at Campbelltown, a venue where the Warriors have not tasted success in 13 years, while the Panthers were unbeaten this season. As round 4 of NRL gets underway tonight, we take a look back at James Tedesco's try for the Sydney Roosters against the Rabbitohs last Friday. A superb individual effort has been selected as the NRL's try of the week for round 3. That's it from Sports Tonight.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
And Angie joins us now with all the latest in weather.
Aloha and welcome to the Weather World. The weather is amazing, though it's a bit on and off, but hey, the good part is it's Thursday and not a Monday. We're literally a day away from the weekend, so let's be glad about that. Now that I have mentioned weekend, many are wondering what the weekend will be like. Rainy and grumpy or nice and sunny? We'll find out in a while, but first, a look in the other centers. The west has clear spells, no sign of daytime rain, but that will change by later tonight, and plus the night will get pretty chilly around 18 degrees. Eastwards from Peck Harbor to Suva, rain has been mostly the topic here, and to top it off, it will continue later tonight as well. Heavy falls will escalate overnight. And up north, all the sunshine has moved here, but rain will take part shortly and rehydrate everything. At sea, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. Turning to the tides, low tide at 11:26 p.m. with high tide at 5:40 p.m. For tomorrow, it's a Friday with high hopes of sunshine. The night will see heavier falls. Looks like a wet Friday. Tomorrow stems with all rain predictions. Centers will be cool in the high 20s. And looking further on to Saturday, so we chose between rainy and grumpy or nice and sunny, and unfortunately, we will have to give it to rainy and grumpy. Hope this gives you ample time to sort out your weekend. That is all the weather news from my end. It's back to Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji and Pulse tonight, we ask, now potholes have been a major issue for most road users, so today we asked for views from Fijians on the condition of our roads.
The growing number of potholes we have on our roads can cause accidents if you come to think about it, and they're just as big as lava pits, I would compare them to.
The number of potholes we have here in Fiji, especially in Lami corridor, it's pathetic. That's the only thing I can say.
The delay is that most of the time we find ourselves caught up in the traffic simply because other vehicles are trying to sort of hold up because, you know, they're just trying to sort of avoid or dodge potholes.
It causes so much traffic and, you know, rushing in the night, especially at the curfew, when it's about to reach curfew and you're trying to get home and then you have to maneuver yourself everywhere with a taxi driver trying to find a way out to get home before time. And that has been a growing concern.
Locals to be given first chance post-COVID-19, $5 million for SME loans, and EU pumps in massive dollars for Fiji. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, is it a good time to invest in real estate? Visit our FBC website to answer. And on to today's shot of the day. It comes from the Garden Island of Taveuni, and this was taken by Div Gounder. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj. Share it with us on our FBC News Facebook page or our Twitter page at FBC_news. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, stay safe. Modamanda.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.